This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Welcome to INCradio Orchid, and we appreciate you all for taking the time to join us in our broadcast today. We hope that you enjoy our topic and discussion, and I'm your host for today, Jillian Pimentel. So we are continuing to look forward to all of your chats in our live chat below. So please continue to engage with us by answering your feedback to some of the questions today, and even answering the live chat questions that we have prepared for you all. And remember to hashtag your local congregation and group worship service so that we know where you guys are watching from. So remember to stay with us throughout the program today, especially to hear about some of our activities at the end that we have coming up. So, as we've highlighted in some of our past INC radio episodes, we've had numerous CFO or Christian family organizations activities in the past, and we continue to hold more of these in the future. And so as time passes, how do we remember the kinds of activities that we've held? Well, today we'll be talking with some who have taken on the critical duty of recording the local history. So let's go ahead and introduce some of the members who hold the office of chroniclers in our district. I am joined with Flo and Rachel today, so thank you guys for joining. Let's start off with you, Rachel. Hi, how are you doing today?
Yep. Hello, everyone. I am Rachel Cruz, as Jillian mentioned, from the local congregation of Beaverton. I am the local congregation chronicler. And let me just go ahead and greet some of my family members who are actually watching right now downstairs. So, my husband, hello to Yuri, my husband, my daughter, Chloe, my dad, I call him Papa Benny, our resident minister, Brother Armin Kagingin, his wife, Sister Rose, and their son, Brother Lloyd, and of course, to all the brethren in the local congregation of Beaverton. Good afternoon, good morning po.
Thank you so much. And also joining us today and helping me host is Flo.
Hi, Jillian, and hi everyone. For thank you for joining us, and so glad to have Rachel join us as well from the local congregation of Beaverton. And for me, I am from the local congregation of Vancouver, and I'm also one of the newer chroniclers here in the district, and still I'm enjoying this duty that we hold, and that's why we're here today, and talk about how fun recording history is. And I'd like to just say hello to my family as well and to the local congregation of Vancouver, our brethren out there, and also Brother Jake Cruz and his family. He is our resident minister. So, hello to everyone joining us in our program today. Sister Jillian,
Um,
back to you.
Yes, thank you, Flo, and thank you, Rachel. I'd also like to greet my local congregation resident minister, Brother Warren Moneja, as well as to his entire family as well. And so I'm excited to go over this topic with you guys today as we have a panel of chroniclers. So before that, I wanted to go ahead and ask our live chat and our viewers a question. So this will be the question that we're looking forward to hear your responses from. So if Kuya Text could help us with this visual graphic that we've prepared, and for our brethren, our listeners today, our question for you is, if there is an event that has happened in your life and you want to look back on it, what are some methods that you use to remember the event? So on the graphic, there's just a few little ideas of what you can use to record it, but there's a lot of different ways as well. So, how about for you, Rachel? How are ways that you want to look back on memories or events that's happened in your life?
So for me, pictures, videos, right? Like we take a lot of videos, we take a lot of pictures, we have like important events and milestones, and even everyday important events as well. Like little things. When my daughter was growing up, I took a lot of pictures. Every year, she's grown up so fast. So you look back into the memories and you see, okay, what happened, right? But it's all about, okay, what did you do before, and what did you do if there are like some um, events that not so good events. You look back and say, okay, what do you learn, what lessons did you learn from that, and then did you improve on it, or did you not improve on it, kind of like that. But mostly, yeah, memories will help us like improve what's going to happen in the future. But of course, it's all about God's mercy. So if you continue to pray to God, then everything will be okay with you and the family. So yeah, thanks, Jillian.
Yes, Rachel, that's true. Thank you so much for that as well. You know, pictures are a great way to look back at those memories, and I happen to use the same way to look back at memories as well. Now, how about for you, Flo? How do you kind of look back on these memories?
Of course, in addition to the camera, which is our handy dandy cell phone, right? That has a camera app on there. And in a way, I kind of wish we had something like that. We had cameras, the actual physical camera, right? But now we have the cell phone, and it's so easily accessible that we can take pictures and capture them. Like I wish it was existing like 30 something years ago when I had children. However, camera is one. Also, I journal, or I have a planner and I jot down uh, the different things, I write. And so it helps to look back and say, oh, wait, what happened on this day? Because, there's so much going on, right? And so we're needing to document it somehow via pictures, like Sister Rachel said, pictures, videos. For me, I write things down. It helps to write. So that's pretty much what I do, Jillian. What about you?
You know, I'm in the same boat as the both of you. I really love using pictures, videos, just videos that we put together over the years to keep these memories intact. Because, you know, over time, sometimes you don't remember what things looked like or what things felt like. But when you look back on the pictures, you know, that one saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. I think that's what it is. And so when you look back at it, all the feelings that you had during that moment really they come back to you as well. And I just wanted to highlight some of the comments that I've seen regarding this question. One of them, Brother Romel Arlo, says that pictures and telling stories to others helps me remember events. But and you know that's a very good one. You mentioned pictures, but telling stories as well. I know maybe a lot of us had those experiences where we're hearing stories about our grandparents or our great grandparents, and that's because we have our parents telling those stories, and then all of a sudden we tell our kids those stories, and you know that can go down generations as well.
Yeah.
Brother Justin Calejo, who's watching from the local congregation of Everett, says that he keeps a box of mementos, and I do that too, Brother Justin. You know, if you have like a significant day that you want to remember, maybe just keeping receipts or any physical objects, that would be a really good way to keep memories as well. So those are just some of the ways that I use to remember events in the future.
Julian, I remember when I first met Rachel, when I arrived in Beaverton, and she shared with me, she used to tell me she creates storybooks, yearly storybooks on her daughter, Chloe. And I love that idea because she has all these pictures and these little captions of what happened. So then maybe one day when she turns 18 or when she graduates, she's probably going to present them to her and say, this is how you grew up. And I think that is such a great idea to do for our children, because sometimes as parents, it's like, wow, where did years gone by? Look at us, years has gone by. Chloe has grown up so fast in the 12 years. So I love that what she does as a mom, and I think all moms should do that too.
I think that's such a sentimental way to keep memories, Rachel. Like from the child's perspective, being able to look back at those memories and seeing when you were a kid, maybe, and like just seeing how you were when you don't remember yourself. That's also a really sentimental way to connect with your parents as well. And so,
Yeah,
while
and
oh
yeah,
yeah, go
just to
ahead.
add to that, real quick. So now that Chloe is a grown up, so she actually helps put it together. So like last year, she puts together. She's now 14. She puts together his 11, her 11th, year. So it's also a great bonding moment.
That is
Mhm.
so sweet, Rachel. And yes, exactly. That's a great way to bond as well between the family. And so, thank you for sharing that story, Flo, and also Rachel. But while we continue on with our theme of record keeping and memory keeping, so what is the importance of record keeping and why? So, let's go back to you for this, Rachel.
So, record keeping. So, for me, documenting and record keeping helps us access accurate and reliable data to be able to make informed decisions. If you have information readily available to you when you needed it most, and also it helps with information sharing, right? And for example, Flo would ask me, okay, what did you do? Like vacation, right? So share with me your vacation, and then I'll share like pictures and etc. For church, I share with her like what are the CFO activities, etc. So it is easily readily available. So if there's a need for to share information and also easy collaboration, that would also ensure like growth, learning, and improvements as well. Skills. So I think I mentioned to you before, Jillian and Flo, that I am not a writer. My profession is in computer science. I'm more on the math, not a writing kind of person. But so being a local chronicler, and also being a mom that, as Flo mentioned, she journals. I also love writing as well. So you can develop your organizational skills and also like your written and your verbal communication, because when you document, right, you either write or you make videos or you conduct interviews. For me, I also like conduct interviews, like Flo and Jillian, you do multimedia as well, you do interviews. So I think for me, I develop my communication skills. Also, attention to details, right? Like you need to be accurate in documenting, because your documentation and your record should be reliable. That it should have integrity, and also it needs to be super accurate, that it would pass to generation from generation, right? So it's important for the future generation to be able to benefit from what happened in the past. Lastly, for me, skills, analytical skills, because you need to like discern, what are the things that, or the records and information that are really relevant and valuable and reliable. Yep.
Very well said, Rachel. And all of those things that you mentioned, like the skills that you've learned and also the importance is very true for record keeping. You know, if we're telling stories and we want to carry on memories, we want to make sure that it's accurate. So we're telling the right story. And also allows us to develop a lot of skills along with the record keeping as well. How about for you, Flo? What would you say is the importance of record keeping and the skills that you've learned with it?
I think, as moms, like Sister Rachel and I, we love to document things. I used to do scrapbooking and keep like what Brother Justin do and you do, that they you have mementos. So I used to have these big albums, and so for me it helps to remember, because there's so much going on and time flies so quickly that sometimes we're asked, "Oh, do you remember what happened even yesterday?" So, we it's important to jot them down, especially those important events that pretty much sticks out in your life, right? So, for me, that is the importance, and I will piggyback on what Rachel said about keeping the important information so that it's readily available. Um, for the skills, uh, I I'm not really a very good writer, but I write just to jot things down. However, being in chronicling and of course in multimedia, it helps to refine the skills I have I already have and do better, especially in researching, being resourceful, where we need to be resourceful on getting where our information is coming from. Critical thinking, I guess it goes hand in hand with analytical thinking. It helps us to think beyond or thinking outside the box, right? Um, like I said, I'm not a writer um, by nature, but I write, and it helps to improve English speaking or our grammar. Um, it's not always perfect. However, this is a great way to be able to learn those skills and take it to another level. Who knows? Someday maybe we'll be novel writers. I don't know, but let's use those skills, and I think they are very important. What about for you, Jillian? Are there any kind of skills? I know you're young, but yet you've done so many great things in multimedia in school. What about for you? What are the skills that you've picked up on?
When it comes to record keeping, I think it allowed me to develop on a lot of skills. One of the first one being organization, knowing where your information is and how well you're writing the information, so that, like as you mentioned, Rachel and Flo, that having that information um, readily available to us whenever we need it. So being able to store them in a place that we can find when we need it is one skill that I've developed. So the organization skills, but as well as the writing skills as well. Like you guys have mentioned as well, we have like these common themes of what skills we've learned, but it's true that this record keeping in this office as well can help us in developing those. When it comes to writing, you need to have the critical thinking to be able to know what you're writing, to know what information is actually needed whenever you're writing. So those are just a snapshot of some of the skills that I've learned, and I really think that having the office of chronicler, and as well as multimedia, has allowed me to develop skills and use those in other areas of my life as well.
I think that those are great things to hold on to because not only in our duties that we perform, we use these skills also at work or even in our personal lives. So important skills. And for those of you who are listening in with us, I'd like to reach out to all of you and if that was some of kind of interest to you to say, hey, I really need to fix on my English writing or my of speaking English, and this possibly could be the avenue for you to even take yourself to another level. So, chronicling is one great place to take it on these kind of skill sets. Jillian.
Yeah, so exactly. And I'm really glad that we were able to touch on that in our broadcast today so that all of the brethren watching could see that these skills that we've developed is thanks to our Almighty God through these duties that we've taken up. And so, one of the next things that we wanted to talk about in our broadcast is just in general how world history impacts us today. So, what are your insights on these, Rachel?
Yeah, for me, knowing and understanding what happened in the past, I think it's important so that we could appreciate and understand the diversities, generational gap in terms of like family, and of course, different cultures and societies, right? We travel around the world. Like for me, I came from the Philippines and now I'm in the US. So it really helps us develop a stronger sense of community, I would say, like knowing, what happened in the past and better collaboration that would help all of us like navigate like challenges that will come along the way. And also, this is cliche, but it would really help us contribute to make the world a better place for all of us, right? And especially for the families, like it could improve, I think, family dynamics by learning from each other's like past experience so that you could improve like better.
Exactly, Rachel. And that's one thing too, is that even when you're out of school, you never stop learning. And so we learn from those around us, we learn from the history, we learn from what we see from people on the other side of the world. There's never a time where we stop learning from our surroundings, which is why I think that world history impacts us today, because it allows us to really learn from either mistakes or from the growth of other people as well, and having us have the chance to implement that in our own lives. So how about you, Flo? What's your insights about this?
World history is such a broad subject, right? And uh, believe it or not, one of my favorite subjects in school was social studies, where we learn history. And one of them was the different cultures. We learned about, you know, I come from Hawaii, so we had to learn about Hawaiiana and what it was like and how it impacts us as we live in where we live at that time. Um, and it helps us to understand um, us, now and what had happened in the past for us. And then, like what Rachel mentioned, we have an appreciation for what we've done, what has been done then, and what we can do to make our world a better place. So for me, it's learning the different cultures in terms of family generations. Uh, it's part of our history world in terms of world history, but yet if we take it down another level and we talk about family lineage or things like that, when we can be able to record that and preserve those things, it's easier for us to talk about them when we share them with our children and our future grandchildren and say, this is what your grandpa did when he was young, because I used to hear those stories from my dad and I appreciated those, especially in terms of the different um uh I guess the history that has happened in Hawaii, like the Pearl Harbor event and things like that. So it helps us and it impacts us for sure in the future, so we can know what direction we want to go. It helps us.
It really does, Flo. And just to share like a personal experience, I was born here in the U.S., but my entire family, or most of my entire family, is there in the Philippines. So being able to hear the background of the Philippines, their culture in the Philippines as well, and just being able to have that as part of my identity while I'm living here in the U.S. has been a really important impact on my life, as well as how these other things like different cultures, family generation, I can learn from as well. And so, just real quick before we continue on to the next question flow, can we go ahead and read just a few of these live chats that are coming in?
Sure thing. And thank you so much, because we have brethren that's joining us from different places of the world, and I can appreciate that, you know, um, them joining us. And so let's go and greet some of our brethren. Let's see. We have we always see him and we appreciate him always joining us here on our broadcast. Brother Mario Oka, all the way out there in the Philippines. He's greeting us from the local congregation of Brixtonville, district of Caloocan North. And thank you for joining us. I know it's early morning there, so good early morning to you, po. Um, Also, let's see, uh, our brother Benny Castillo joining us, one of the first ones on our live chat. So, hello to you, po, out there with your family. He's from local congregation of Albany. Thank you so much, sister. We have Sister Danielle McClintock from Medford, Sister Melissa Yaneza from Hillsboro, Brother Romel, Arlos from Hillsboro. Hello, Brother Albertson McClintock as well, resident minister over there in Medford Group Worship Service. We also have here Sister Kristen Cassandra Padastal, there in Hillsboro, and we love that you're joining us. So thank you. She's watching us from Renton, sorry, there in the District of Washington State. Sister Claire, our Sister Claire Cruz, from Vancouver. She's the wife of our brother Jake Cruz. Thank you so much. And brother Benedicto. Hello, Papa. Papa Benny is joining us as well. Sister Jillian, sister, brother Nerio Catariano, all the way out there from Great Falls, Montana. And let's see, Sister Rachel Samia from Great Falls as well. Um, Brother Yuri joining us as well. Hello, Brother Rod Reyes from local congregation of Portland. And he is encouraging all of us to be there at our CFO Cares event on Monday. We'll mention that again towards our show. Uh, and then Sister Melissa Balan, Portland, Brother Lovigildo Katabay. I believe he's from Portland. Sister Marietta Miller over there from Medford Group Worship Service. And Sister Chloe Cruz, she says, "Hi, Mom, Car Rachel. Uh, she says, thank you for documenting her memories. And I'm sure she appreciates that. Brother PJ and Thara, all the way out there from uh, um, OCC, from Orange County, California, Anaheim. We have a brother, Roel Dela Cruz Canincio. Neo, sorry. Good morning, po. And then we have brother Dave Escano joining us as well. And let's see, brother or sister Janet Salvador, all the way there from the Philippines, local of, oh boy, let's try this. Local of Taguanao, Cagayan de Oro, Misamis Oriental. Thank you for joining us. All right, we're going to continue with some more with our conversations. Jillian, back to you.
Yes. Thank you, Flo, for reading some of those. I also just wanted to highlight one question one comment that my dad made, Brother June, who said, "We are Christian culture." And yes, well, that is true. That overall, we are Christian culture, that we are guided by the teachings that we are taught in the Church of Christ. So thank you, Dad, for that comment as well. And so, as we continue on to the next question, so there are many areas of our lives and works. And so, what are just some of these examples that we see of record keeping? So, what are some examples that we see in your life, Rachel?
Records, so personal records, right? We have personal records. That's our birth certificate, our marriage certificate. We use those for very important as our source of identification in school and work, right? We also have legal documents like property deeds, assets, right? If you're adulting, if you're an adult, you need to have those. Health records, right? And of course, education records. I think all of these kinds of types of records are like used for like quality of life, right? For work, I work in a corporate world, so I do like projects. So for me, it's important to document like the projects, the progress, the milestone, and deliverables. And then that would ensure like a successful completion of my project. And also, I document like lessons learned to improve on the next project. This is important for me for church, since we're talking about chronicling. So for church, like chronicling, recording, documenting, the important events, it would really serve as the history of the church in the future generation. How our Lord God has manifested his powers, his great deeds, his all the wonderful things that he has done for the church and the brethren. I don't remember the verse of the verse of the Bible in Psalms, but yeah, like he because of this history, we know how great our Lord God is with the church and also with the brethren. And with this, it's also encourages the brethren to persevere in their faith. It also like inspires hope and also provides like lesson from the past. That way we know how to live a life, that would always please our Almighty God.
Yes, Rachel, exactly. And so, just from the very beginning of your response to how we need all of these documentations for our life, but also it goes on to show us the greatness of our God and how much grace and blessings that He's given to us over the years. That's why just having these record keepings in our life is very important as well. So how what would you say for this one, Flo?
Um, so documenting, record keeping, we already said it's so important for us and for the future generations. We get to live history in the moment, really. And so of like for Rachel mentioned about milestones and how she for me, I we have different milestones, right? I've been and one that we could mention here for INC Radio Oregon, INC Radio Oregon, and now, if we go back to history on how far INC Radio has come, um, just letting all of you know that we were not always Oregon. We were first with Alaska, the District of Alaska. That's how we started. And then, of course, after that, we became a substation, um, Pacific Northwest, Oregon. And then in 2019, we became our own satellite studio. And so that's when um, Oregon came about. And so it becomes a personal history for myself as well as for the church, because that's how the journey was taken. And just letting you know, we're gonna hit a milestone in INC Radio this year. We will make 5 years in July. That's when we were approved. And so that's another way of um, making sure we know where we came from, how we started. And that's what how INC Radio Oregon came about. And there were so many different changes that happened along the way in a span of, I think, about 8 9 years, about when we first started. um, and we've evolved so much. So documenting and seeing the past will help us to do better for our satellite studios. So that's a very short story. We'll probably will but we plan to recap it when we make our 5 years.
Thank you, Flo. And yes, we have a very long history and very fruitful history for our INC radio as well. So, how about for you, Rachel? What is one activity or accomplishment that has occurred in our district or local congregation that you would want future generations to recognize?
Oh,
Yeah. So I pick one. So Flo mentioned about 15 years of milestone for local Beaverton, like I think last year or 2 years ago, I forget. But yes, in the local congregation of Beaverton, we started like a small group worship service. Then in Beaverton, then many more brethren arrived, and then became a local congregation. And then in Beaverton, with brethren is the brethren were like they had like intensive propagation of God's words, their faithful devotion to their church duties, and of course with God's mercy, we grew again in number, and it led to the establishment of the new congregation, which is Hillsboro. And then of course again God's power. I will repeat this again and over again. With God's power and great deeds, right? It did not stop there. After that, congregation of Hillsboro established St. Helen's group worship service, right? So this is the indeed the proof of God's love and a reminder for all of us that He's faithful to us, and we just have to trust Him.
Exactly, Rachel. Very well said. Having that trust in our Lord God that He will bless us throughout this growth as well as, and we can see that in how vast the church is today and how the church continues to grow. And one thing that I wanted to highlight that I would want future generations to recognize is just of all of the activities of the Christian family organizations that we hold every month, every year, just being able to see that through pictures, through record keeping, that the brethren are able to enjoy these activities that are launched by the church administration. We are able to unite with the church administration as well as show that we are able to have fun in these activities. Not only can we see that for ourselves, but we get to bond with all of the brethren in our district. And you know, all of that is part of God's goodness to all of us. And so if there was one thing I'd want the future generations to recognize, and it would be God's goodness as well. Most of all, that He's been able to grant us with all of these things in our district, as well as the growth of INCRadio, the milestones of the local congregations that we've all been able to witness as well. And so, as the church continues to grow and more activities are conducted, the chroniclers in our district and as well as over the world aid the church administration in recording them so that we can look back at the church's history, like we've all mentioned, and seeing the blessings that God has given to His people throughout the years. So, thank you so much, Flo, and thank you, Rachel, for all of your inputs that we have today. We've been able to go through a lot of activities and a lot of history of our district just through this episode alone. So, Flo, I'll go off and hand it off to you for the rest of our episode.
All right. Thank you so much. And this weekend is a big weekend for all of us. And so, first of all, let's start off with the local congregation of Beaverton. They have a family fun day. That's tomorrow at the Mariposa Community Center, and I'm sure they're excited for that as well. And the district, we have a district CFO cares May 26th at 10 a.m. at the Blue Lake Regional Park, and and we'd like to encourage all of our brethren to come out to this activity. This is mainly focused for the brethren inside in the District of Oregon. However, you are also encouraged to bring your friends who have not yet been who have not yet seen what the Church of Christ does. And this is one way of getting to know us, getting to know the church as well. And then, of course, for us, the members of the Church of Christ, we have a way of bonding, making new friendships. And so let's make sure that we are there. We're gonna have some care packages, or actually CFO care bags to give away. And so be there, and all kinds of different things. And of course, we cannot forget the great food that is to be prepared for all of us from the different local congregation and group worship service. And of course, may I remind you to make sure that to bring your cameras and also document this for your friends and family as well. So we'll have fun, a lot of fun, and the district leadership of the Christian Family Organization have put in a lot of work into this. So we hope that the brethren will enjoy this. Um, but before we go on to our special acknowledgments, just wanted to send out birthday greetings to our brethren. Uh, do we have them, Sister Julian? uh,
Yes, I'll go ahead and read some of these. We have
yeah.
a lot of birthday from the local congregation of Beaverton. So we have Sister Lydia Smith, whose birthday is today. So happy birthday, Paul. Sister Chris Paulino, tomorrow, May 25th. Sister Lynn Cruzada, May 25th, tomorrow as well. Sister Felma Tuviera, whose birthday is May 27th. And then Sister Norma Pexin on May 29th. We would also like to greet some anniversary greetings. So, actually, she's with us today. Sister Rachel, happy anniversary to you and Brother Yuri, which is tomorrow, May 25th. And then also Sister MJ and Brother DJ Angeles, May 21st, the resident minister of our local congregation of Hillsboro. So those are the greetings that I have for the birthdays. We also have Brother Rod and Sister Terry Morales, whose anniversary is on May 29th.
All right. So we're sending out a special acknowledgments to our brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our executive minister, brother Angelo Iranio V. Manalo, our CFO coordinator, CEBSI CEO and president, and also to our brother Wally Tarai, our INC radio station manager. Thank you so much for all you do for us because we get to broadcast programs like this, as well as we have different platforms for our brothers and sisters, and of course, our friends and loved ones to also look into. And we'd like to say a very big thank you to everyone who have joined us today in our INC Radio Oregon, especially to our district minister, Brother Moises Kadosale, and also our assistant district minister, Brother Gino Ramello. Please do join us again next week because we're going to recap a very busy month of May. So please be there. It's entitled United in Love, uh, CFO Cares, and Unity Games. And so you'll see some of the different ways that we have captured our activities. So please share this episode today, the program link to your friends and loved ones. And be sure to subscribe to INC Radio DZM 954 on the YouTube channel. We hope that you enjoy whatever sun we have today and have a great weekend and be good to each other. We'll see you for sure on Monday, May 26th. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you from the INC Radio Satellite Studio. Bye, everyone.